For this lesson, you are going to read or listen to a poem that is connected to the stories we've been reading. Every unit will have a poem that we'll look at. I don't know if you had one with 4th grade, but I would kind of assume Benchmark also had a poem every unit. Anyway, poetry can be a little intimidating because sometimes there's more unfamiliar words. It's harder to figure out what they're talking about, but don't be intimidating. The more you do it, the easier it will be and the less scary. So you are going to read and or listen to the poem. I'll show you how. And then you have 2 questions to answer in your post. How many questions? 2 questions. Your first question, what connections can you make to the poem, either from your own life or from other texts you've read? So it's talking about a girl who has a garden. So have you ever planted anything? Has your family, has your neighbor, have your friend, have your auntie, have your cousin, has anyone you know ever planted anything or had a garden? Or have you ever read about someone gardening or farming, growing food? Lots of connections that hopefully you can make. And then number 2, what questions do you have about the poem? So maybe there's some words you're wondering about. Maybe there are parts you don't understand. And there are parts or words that I had a hard time with. So don't say you don't have any questions. Think harder. So this is a link to the written poem, so you'll want to open that up. You don't have to write anything on here. You won't be able to write anything on here, but you will be able to read it. So what I would do is I would have both open. So here is the link where it will read it to you. You might need to sign in. Make sure it does say a girl's garden up here, because notice there's all the poems we'll read this year. So make sure it says a girl's garden. You can press play. So what I would do is I would press play and then I would switch back to my old tab so I could follow along. So I'd say, okay, play. All right, I don't know if you could hear what it was reading, but I pressed play, then I've accidentally switched to the wrong tab at first, but then I switched to the right tab with the poem so that I could follow along. Because sometimes if you just hear it, it can be hard to tell what words they're saying. Sometimes if you just read it, you might not know what the words are. But if you have both together, that can help you understand. So maybe dung is a new word for you. Maybe when it says give you a chance to put some strength on your slim Jim arm. What does that mean? And then she begged the seed. What is she talking about there? So these might be questions that you have. It's okay to not have the answers. With poetry, thinking and exploring and wondering is an important step in reading poems. So you'll make that post. Make sure you answer how many questions? 2 questions. Let me know if you have any wonderings about sort of how to do the assignment, and just do your best. There's not wrong answers, so just give it your best try. You can do it.